Hi, this is Aaron from aarongross.com and I'm a clear mind coach. I help people get clear in their decisions, whether it be relationships, work, business, life in general. And today I want to speak about what it means and what it takes to get a clear mind. It's not something that you remain in all the time 24/7. It's something that you go up and down in all the time. You dip in and out of this awareness. And it may sound counterintuitive, but it's not so much something that you do. It's a combination of something that gets cultivated or a muscle that builds with time, as well as something that can happen in just a flash moment. So I want to explain to you first what it means that you can have a point of clarity in a flash moment. When I used to work as a computer programmer many years ago, sometimes I'd leave work and didn't solve the problem, the program didn't run, and all of a sudden in the middle of my sleep, boom, I had this nightmare wake up and I knew the answer to the problem. And my mind was totally somewhere else. So it can happen in a flash when your mind calms down, when you're daydreaming, that you get this lightning bolt flash of wisdom that comes from within you. Went to work the next day, went in front of the computer, solved the problem. I had to fix up full stop, whatever it was in the code, and it was done. And that's an example of a flash moment. Another example of where you can reach a point of clarity without even trying is, I remember that Orson Welles used to run this radio show. And it was War of the Worlds. And it originally started as a radio show. And he thought the best way to give it over was like a news broadcast on a radio show. So he used to make this radio show and people would tune in to listen on the radio in the good old days. And he prefaced the radio show by saying that this is just a show, it's not real. And, the aliens would come and invade Earth and everything else that he'd go on about over there. And the problem was that if you tuned in a little bit later, you didn't hear the preface, the introduction saying this is just a radio show. So at one point in time, there were all these people heading out to New Jersey to go because the aliens were coming to New Jersey and they were all going to invade the whole planet Earth, and they were coming with their pickaxes and knives and guns and I don't know what. And they were going to go and, show these aliens a thing or two. How can you invade us? And, people were making phone calls to the police about it. And the police investigated and they found that it was just Orson Welles' radio show. Now, the insight was that when people were told by the police, either on the phone or in New Jersey where all these people were gathering to kill the aliens and go to war with them, they were just told, it was just a radio show, it's not real. Everyone immediately calmed down. It's not something they had to go and meditate for 10 years or work really hard at. It just happened like that, automatically, without any work whatsoever. So the lightning bulb went off for them as well. It wasn't something that they had to work at. It wasn't something they had to meditate on. It happened in an instant. They saw a new perspective. This is just a radio show. Well, the good news is that life really is a radio show based on what you're thinking moment to moment. So when you take things so seriously, when you take your thinking so seriously, that's the radio show of your life at the moment. But if you realize it's just a radio show and you don't like what you're thinking, you can change the channel of your thinking any moment. It's not something that you have to actively do. It's just an awareness of what you're doing at the moment, that when you realize, I'm getting upset now and that's because I'm taking my thoughts so seriously, well then, as soon as I just realize, hey, that's just another radio show, it's not so bad. So that's a couple of examples of how you can get a clear mind just by not really trying. It just happens automatically by a realization that either comes out of the blue, like it did with my computer programming, or it comes by seeing a new perspective. That was just a radio show, like it was in the days of Orson Welles with War of the Worlds. Another way that you can get a clear mind is through cultivating it in your understanding. Again, I've got to be very careful when I say this. It's not so much cultivating by working really hard. It's just by the more you realize that your experience of life is happening based on what you think, the deeper that understanding becomes inculcated into your personality. And the more you cultivate that and you see it in your experience, the more calmer you get more often, and the more you just cool down from those terrible things when you want to get clear and clear up your mind. So look, I hope that helps. And if you've got any comments, please put them down below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And also, I'm contactable on those contact details up there. Melbourne, Australian time, please, if you call me. And I give a 15-minute introductory call to continue this conversation where lives really get transformed through having a clear mind. And it's not something you get, it's something you discover, you cultivate, and it happens through the deepening of your understanding with no work and no effort. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but that's the reality of how a clear mind works. And I'd love to speak to you, and I'd love to hear you in the comments below. If you haven't given me a thumbs up, please do. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time. Oh, and also, if you want, you're welcome to read more about this Getting a Clear Mind on my website if you click in the link below. Until next time, bye for now.